everyone, so today we're going to talk about the key terms and concept in managing and implementing standard-based grammar teaching. I would like also to apologize because there's some environmental noise that can be heard in this video because it's very unavoidable, so I hope you understand it. So let's get started. First, let's talk about what is grammaring. So grammaring is sometimes used to refer to the process by which language learners use grammar to create messages through grammaticalizing or adding grammar to a sequence of words to create a finer meaning distinctions. The linguist Diane Larson Freeman proposed grammaring as an important process in second language acquisition. Grammaring emphasizes grammar as a dynamic process rather than a system of rules. Grammar was considered as a method of language teaching and learning with the so-called grammar translation approach. With this approach, which draws from philology, grammar was viewed as the core language. According to the definition stated above, grammar is no longer conceived as a description of language or native speaker's competence. Thus, a paradigm shift arose about the teaching and learning of grammar. The purpose behind teaching grammar is no longer the transmission of knowledge. Rather, teaching grammar is now performed to enable students to use grammatical structures accurately, meaningfully, and appropriately in this respect, Larson 2001 further states that grammar teaching is not so much knowledge transmission as is it skill development. Thus, different activities have started to focus on developing such a skill. So next, we have the grammaticalizing. So grammaticalizing is the process of language change by which words representing objects and actions. Thus, it creates new functions words by a process other than deriving them from existing bound and flectional constructions, instead deriving them from the content words. Grammaticalization have often focused on isolated linguistic forms. It has frequently been emphasized, however, the grammaticalization not only affects single words or morphemes, but often also a larger structures of constructions. More recently, with the increasing interest in the patterns and particularly with the advent of constructions grammar, constructions have received much more attention in studies of grammaticalization. The third one is the error correction versus feedback. So speech error correction and giving feedback is a controversial issue in second language learning, and there are some complexities about whether to use error correction and feedback or not, and if speech error correction is necessary. When or how to correct speech errors of the students in language classroom. According to the research on error correction, there is not a common idea on the most effective method on error correction. According to observation, error correction may be useful for many learners, but it may be always be seen as a powerful technique for every language learner and in any classroom environment. There are many things that should be definitely taken into consideration, such as students' language level, what kinds of error to be corrected, and how to correct such errors. It is asserted that errors in speaking are quite normal and avoidable. Therefore, a proper method should be developed and used in error correction. Error correction in spoken language requires careful and effective treatment because of the fact that each learner may react to the teacher's feedback in a different way. It is argued that the excessive negative cognitive feedback, which means frequent interruptions and correction, may get the students to avoid communication. On the other hand, excessive positive cognitive feedback, which means ignoring the errors to some extent, may reinforce the speech errors and may cause facilization of errors, so there should be a balance while giving feedback. The fourth one is the spoken versus written grammar. So spoken grammar is flexible in its word order. This is a good news for language learners. Spoken grammar is much less strict than written. The 100 most common words in written grammars are preposition, pronouns, and articles. The small words which give correct grammatical structure to sentence. In spoken English, many of the 100 words are verbs. The spoken written continuum might be better addressed through a genre and a register-based approach to grammar as an integral part of this course. This macro and micro perspective on the interrelationship between grammar and meaning underscores this course as an emergent, interactive, and a social cognitive cultural process of language use, communication, and understanding. So the fifth one is the grammatical assessment. So it is another fundamental aspect of teaching and can also help you determine a student's proficiency in a language. Using assessment can help to identify the strengths and weaknesses. In assessing grammar, the purpose is to assess grammatical knowledge as well as pragmatical knowledge. Hence, there is a grammatical ability to be assessed by a language teachers which requires knowledge of language, strategic competence, and metalinguistic knowledge. That is, while testing grammatical ability of language learners, phonological, graphological, lexical, morphosyntactic, cohesive, information management, interactional form, and meaning. The last one is the pedagogical issues. There are 5 major approaches of pedagogical issues, namely constructivist, collaborative, integrative, reflective, and inquiry-based learning. Having a well-thought-out pedagogy can improve the quality of your teaching and the way the students learn, helping them gain a deeper grasp of fundamental material. Students can leverage their preferred learning styles while with a teaching process that supports them and the way they like to learn. Pedagogy can be defined as the art of teaching. Pedagogy involves being able to convey knowledge and skill in a way that the students can understand, remember, and apply. Pedagogical skills can generally be divided into classroom management skills and content-related skills. There are also benefits in pedagogical issues. So first, there will always be enough students for interaction, and we get a variety of human resources. And there are also challenges in the pedagogical issues. We have that the teachers are frustrated with a huge amount of the written work, and lastly, it is difficult to provide for individual learning styles.